Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, no matter what time zone you are in. Welcome back to Sip and Talk.
Welcome, everyone.
And a massive special welcome to all of our dedicated Sip and Talkers out there today.
It is great to have you all with us.
But I have to confess something right out of the gate today.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
No, seriously. I was so close to just... I seriously considered taking the day off.
I thought that's my line. You've had enough of the news cycle.
I really have. Global situation right now is just absolutely exhausting, and I feel like the world has officially gone off the deep end.
It has been a very heavy couple of weeks.
Heavy is an understatement. I mean, I was looking at the maritime tracking data this morning, and commercial traffic in the Strait of Hormuz dropped over 80%.
In just one day?
In 24 hours. Honestly, I thought my internet connection was broken and the page just wasn't refreshing.
Right.
But no, it's real. The strait has essentially turned into a giant maritime parking lot.
Well, let's apply the logic scalpel here for a second.
Okay, lay it on me.
Because, frankly, if your internet drops, it's a minor inconvenience, right? You might miss a few emails or a social media update.
Sure.
But if 20% of the globe's oil and liquid natural gas gets physically stuck at the strait and cannot get through,
Yeah.
the global supply chain goes into sudden cardiac arrest. It is just math. Next month, you won't just be crying over spilled oat milk because your grocery delivery is late.
You'll be crying over your bills.
Exactly. You will be crying over a skyrocketing electric bill that fundamentally changes your entire household budget.
Okay, wow. That is a terrifying way to put it, but it's true. I let out this massive sigh when I saw those numbers.
I don't blame you.
I tried to joke to myself that a maritime traffic jam of that scale probably looks spectacular from a satellite. Just hundreds of massive ships hanging out.
It is an unprecedented visual.
But the reality on the ground is anything but funny. Everyone is terrified of this domino effect.
Absolutely.
My group chats are completely blowing up
Wow.
with rumors about $100 oil, stock market crashes, empty shelves. Tell me we're just dealing with some overly aggressive fear-mongering here.
I genuinely wish I could sit here and tell you it was just fear-mongering.
But you can't.
I can't. If we look at the undeniable facts on the ground since the February 28th Roaring Lion and Operation Epic Fury actions,
Right.
the paradigm has shifted completely. This is no longer just regional friction or proxy posturing.
It's the real deal now.
We have crossed a very clear threshold into real, sustained military conflict.
But wait, the Iranian Foreign Ministry keeps putting out these official statements claiming they aren't blocking the strait, right?
They are saying that, yes.
So why is everything stopped?
Because the shipping giants, companies like Maersk, are looking at the exact same water and treating it like an active minefield.
Wow.
They have halted transit entirely.
So we are looking at a classic Rashomon situation here.
That is a great way to describe it.
You ask the Iranian Foreign Ministry, and they say the door is wide open. Please sail on through.
Come on in.
Right. You ask the shipping giants, and they say it's a literal war zone. The truth depends entirely on who you ask.
But the economic damage is real regardless of who is telling the truth.
Exactly. And the contrast is just stark. You have the UN over in Geneva issuing rights reports and calling for de-escalation,
You know what they do.
while actual heavy warfare is carrying up the physical map. It's so ironic.
It is. And to add a crucial layer to that broader context, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi just stated in a press conference that China-Russia relations are rock solid.
Rock solid. That's strong phrasing.
Extremely strong. In diplomatic speak, during a crisis of this magnitude, that is a massive hint at major global powers actively realigning their energy dependencies and their strategic positions.
So everyone is picking a side and locking in.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And today we are going to unpack the structural logic of all of this, including the latest rather sobering projections from Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley.
Which brings us to our overarching theme for today.
Let's hear it.
Hormuz Rashomon. Has the global economy's stress test begun?
It's a heavy question.
It really is. Our mission for this episode of Sip and Talk is to cut through all the noise and figure out, will this be a lightning-fast conflict that wraps up in a month? Or is this the final heavy straw that drags down the entire 2026 global economy?
We need to look at the hard numbers.
Yes. Bring out the data, because we really need to make sense of this.
We are definitely going to dive deeply into the most critical financial and news updates you need to know today.
But first, we should probably do our standard check-in.
Yes, a quick reminder for everyone listening. We are exploring these massive geopolitical shifts objectively from an international perspective.
Absolutely.
We urge everyone listening to maintain independent thinking. We are not taking any political sides today. We are simply analyzing the mechanics of these events.
I hear you on the structural logic, I really do. But man, it's incredibly hard to stay emotionally detached when you look at the sheer scale of Operation Epic Fury.
It is an overwhelming amount of force.
It's now entering its second week, and the numbers coming out are just staggering to comprehend.
What is analytically fascinating here is the unprecedented volume of this ultimate pressure campaign.
Break it down for us.
In just the first 12 hours of the operation, the U.S. and Israel launched nearly 900 strikes.
Wait, 900?
Let that sink in for a moment. 900 coordinated strikes in half a day.
That is just relentless.
It is, and the damage assessments are indicating that 90% of Iran's missile retaliation capability
90%.
and 82% of its drone fleet were destroyed.
Hold on, 82% of their drones.
Yes.
That entirely neutralizes their asymmetrical warfare strategy. I mean, they rely on those drone swarms.
Precisely. It strips away their primary deterrent.
Unbelievable.
And on the naval side, the toll is equally historic. 43 warships and 1 submarine sunk.
Just wiped off the board.
In military terms, the Iranian Navy is effectively categorized as combat ineffective at this point. They physically cannot project power into the Gulf.
Those numbers are insane. It's an absolute dismantling of their infrastructure.
It really is.
And the rhetoric from Washington matches the physical strikes. Trump issued a very blunt ultimatum on social media.
Demanding unconditional surrender.
Right. Unconditional surrender, or they would face total destruction. It's an incredibly heavy, tense moment globally.
Especially underscored by the fact that he just attended the transfer of remains for 6 U.S. soldiers who died in Kuwait.
The human cost is very real. We can never forget that.
No, we cannot.
But what really shocked me, looking at the updates over the weekend, is the absolute internal chaos happening within Iran right now.
Yes, the leadership vacuum.
Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei was confirmed dead on February 28th.
And that creates an immense, highly dangerous power vacuum at the exact moment the country is under military siege.
So who is even in charge over there right now?
Currently, there's an interim leadership council desperately trying to hold things together.
Okay.
You have President Pezeshkian effectively apologizing to neighboring countries and actively seeking a diplomatic off-ramp to save the remaining infrastructure.
Which makes sense if your Navy's gone.
Exactly. But internally, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, is fracturing wide open.
Because they don't agree with the diplomatic approach.
Right. You have a violent clash between the hardliners who want immediate aggressive retaliation at any cost.
Even if they don't have the weapons for it.
Exactly. And on the other side, the pragmatists. They are looking at a decimated Navy and viewing the president's diplomatic stance not as weak, but as the literal only way to survive.
It's a total geopolitical chessboard, and the pieces are moving so fast I can barely track them.
It is very fluid.
I mean, the UK is deploying an aircraft carrier to the region. US B-1 bombers are actively stationed at UK bases.
And there are credible reports that Russia is allegedly providing high-resolution satellite imagery directly to Iran.
To try and disrupt US operations. It is such a tangled web.
It is the definition of escalation.
So if we look back at this maritime parking lot we talked about earlier, how exactly do the economic dominoes start falling from here?
That brings us right back to the psychological blockade.
Right.
Even if the strait isn't physically barricaded with sea mines or sunken ships, it is economically barricaded.
Because of the fear.
Exactly. There are currently over 200 oil and liquid natural gas tankers simply parked, dropping anchor outside the strait.
200 of them, just sitting there.
Why? Because the insurers at Lloyd's of London are pulling their war risk coverage.
Which means what, practically speaking? Like, what if a captain decides to just brave it and sail through anyway?
If a ship sails into a designated war zone without that specific insurance and gets hit by a stray drone or a missile,
Oh, I see.
the shipping company is entirely on the hook for a multi-$100-million vessel and its cargo.
They'd go bankrupt instantly.
Legally and financially, they cannot make the crossing. The risk profile is mathematically impossible.
That makes total sense.
And on top of the maritime freeze, air freight costs have spiked 2 to 3 times their normal rate overnight.
2 to 3 times. Why?
Because commercial cargo planes have to divert their routes entirely around the regional airspace to avoid surface-to-air missiles.
And that massive disruption leads us directly to the oil shockwave, which is exactly what everyone listening is feeling, or is about to feel, at the gas pump.
It's unavoidable.
Brent crude has officially surged past $92.69 a barrel.
Yes.
Just to put that in perspective for everyone, that is a massive 34% jump in just a single month.
And the institutional projections are incredibly grim.
What are they saying?
Goldman Sachs released a memo warning of an immediate $15 per barrel premium if the strait remains blocked for just 4 weeks.
Just 4 weeks.
Morgan Stanley took it a step further. They are predicting that if this psychological and physical blockade lasts for months, oil will easily break $100 a barrel.
And stay there.
We're already seeing Kuwait cutting their production, while OPEC Plus is scrambling behind the scenes to try and increase output to fill the glaring gap in the market.
And Trump is currently holding off on using the SPR, right? The Strategic Petroleum Reserve.
Yes, he's keeping that card in his pocket for now.
But it's not just oil that's the problem. The secondary crises are where it gets really scary for the everyday person.
It cascades into everything.
Let's talk about inflation. If we see an $80 plus oil price sustained for 3 months, analysts are saying that could push the U.S. CPI up by 0.35%.
Which is significant.
It essentially kills any lingering hopes for interest rate cuts in 2026. Mortgages, car loans, credit cards, all of it stays expensive.
It creates a tremendous drag on consumer spending, but if we connect this to the bigger picture, it hits the highly sensitive tech supply chain too.
Oh, the semiconductor stuff.
Exactly. Korean manufacturing giants like Samsung and SK Hynix are already issuing severe warnings about disruptions to helium and specialized chemical gases.
Which are absolute critical for manufacturing semiconductors, right?
Exactly. If those ships don't move, the chips don't get made, period.
No chips, no new smartphones, no cars, no laptops. It touches literally everything.
And perhaps the most immediate blow to the global infrastructure, Qatar Energy just declared force majeure on their liquid natural gas exports.
Force majeure? That sounds serious.
In contract law, that is the nuclear option.
Wow.
It means an unforeseeable, unavoidable event prevents them from fulfilling their contracts.
So they are legally off the hook for delivering the gas?
Yes. And that declaration is a massive, immediate threat to Asian and European power grids that rely on that gas just to keep the lights on.
Okay, this all sounds incredibly bleak, I'm not going to lie.
It is a dark picture.
But here is the fascinating twist. While the geopolitics of oil are literally parking the global economy and threatening power grids, the tech world is quietly building an escape pod.
And it is moving very fast.
It really is.
Yeah.
And ironically, the answer to this massive trillion-dollar energy crisis isn't more deep-sea drilling, it's table salt.
It sounds like a middle school chemistry project, but the implications are revolutionary.
Right. I was geeking out over the MIT Technology Review's 2026 breakthrough list, and they highlighted sodium-ion batteries.
The timing couldn't be better.
Seriously. Because right now, a few very specific countries hold a near-total monopoly over lithium mining and processing.
Which is a huge geopolitical bottleneck.
Exactly. And lithium is incredibly rare. It's 1,000 times less abundant on Earth than sodium. So by shifting the global battery infrastructure to sodium-ion technology, we essentially break that monopoly overnight.
It is a massive paradigm shift.
Table salt.
If you don't need lithium, you aren't beholden to the political whims of the countries that control it.
Yes.
You achieve a decentralized energy independence. It fundamentally redraws the geopolitical map of who holds power in the world.
It strips the leverage right out of the current system. But the revolution isn't just happening in hardware and batteries. Software is making a terrifyingly fast leap this year, too.
Yes, we have to talk about AI.
2026 is fundamentally the year AI goes from being a helpful little chat tool that writes your emails to a fully autonomous agent.
The era of agentic AI. This is a crucial distinction.
Walk us through it.
Let's look at a new piece of software called OpenClaw. This is an open source phenomenon that just completely shattered Linux's 30-year download record in a mere 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
It hit 100,000 stars on GitHub in 2 days.
That is unheard of.
People need to understand this isn't a chatbot answering your trivia questions. An AI agent takes actual control.
Like it has hands.
Exactly.
All right.
It can execute terminal commands on your computer, modify its own code, navigate the web, and handle your emails entirely remotely and autonomously.
It's doing the driving.
Yes.
But to make sure these AI agents don't just go rogue and delete our hard drives, there's another MIT breakthrough happening alongside it called mechanistic interpretability.
A mouthful, but very important.
It sounds super dense, but think of it as an MRI machine for artificial intelligence.
I like that analogy.
Instead of just seeing the AI's final output, it allows engineers to look inside the neural network and actually translate the AI's weight distributions into human logic.
Which is absolutely essential because otherwise, as the MIT researchers brilliantly put it, we are building skyscrapers in the fog.
Ooh, that's a good quote.
If we don't know how the AI arrived at a decision, we cannot trust it with critical infrastructure.
Which leads right into the massive corporate arms race we're watching unfold right now.
The capital flowing into this is staggering.
NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang is aggressively pushing this agentic era, essentially betting the company's entire future on it.
And OpenAI as well.
Yes.
Yep.
OpenAI is hitting an insane $250 billion in ARR, annual recurring revenue, and they are gearing up for a $1 trillion IPO.
While fiercely battling Anthropic for dominance.
Every major tech player, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Meta, they are pouring hundreds of billions of dollars into building mega data centers to house these agents.
But we have to tie this massive technological leap back to the geopolitical conflict we started with today.
Right. Because they are no longer separate spheres.
Not at all. Palantir provided the Maven Smart system for Operation Epic Fury.
And what does that do?
They are actively using artificial intelligence to process satellite imagery and drone feeds, shrinking military target selection down to mere seconds.
See, that is the part that gives me absolute chills.
It's highly efficient, but terrifying.
I have to ask everyone listening, when an AI system is essentially acting as your military colleague, identifying targets in real time on a battlefield, can human decision-making even keep up with the speed of that targeting?
It forces us to ask if we are still the ones in control of the escalation.
Exactly. Are we just along for the ride?
And with all of this rapid, compounding change war in the Middle East, sticky inflation, autonomous AI agents, shifting global energy grids, it brings us to the most practical question of the day.
How do we survive this?
How do you actually navigate 2026 financially? I want to lay out a logical framework today called the addition and subtraction strategy.
I am all ears for a strategy, believe me. But I have to push back a little first.
Go ahead.
Isn't telling people to invest in the stock market right now while the Strait of Hormuz is essentially closed, basically asking them to catch a falling knife?
That is exactly why the strategy is bifurcated based on your timeline.
Okay, break it down.
The addition strategy is primarily for the young investor. When you have 20 or 30 years on your side, your focus should be entirely on long-term scale.
So, time in the market.
Yes. The mathematical power of compound interest and broad growth ETFs like VOO. The key here is not to panic during geopolitical shocks, and critically, not to fall for the trap of chasing high-yield dividends too early. You want to add to your principal aggressively while the market is volatile.
Right, because you have the decades needed to weather the storms and let the market recover. But what if you don't have decades? What if you're retiring next year?
That is where the subtraction strategy comes in, tailored specifically for retirees.
And what do?
At this stage of life, your primary focus must be on stable, predictable cash flow and deliberately lowering your financial anxiety.
Lowering anxiety is key right now.
The single biggest mistake you can make right now is getting caught up in the hype and going all in on high volatility AI stocks like NVIDIA or Palantir.
Because if it crashes, you're done.
If the market aggressively corrects because inflation spikes again from the oil crisis, you simply do not have the time horizon to recover those losses. You need to subtract risk.
And I'm guessing if you're somewhere in the middle, say, ages 40 to 55, deep in your career but not quite retiring, you use a hybrid of both.
Exactly. A middle-age strategy blends the two, balancing aggressive growth in your retirement accounts with defensive liquid cash flow depending on your specific timeline and family needs.
That makes a lot of sense.
But I need to firmly state right here, we are not financial advisors.
We definitely are not.
Any specific stocks, companies, or funds mentioned today are strictly for context and data reference. You must always do your own independent research and consult a professional before making moves.
Absolutely. You have to be the captain of your own financial ship, especially in waters this choppy.
So as we wrap up our analysis today, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over, something that bridges everything we've discussed.
Lay it on us.
We are watching the very definition of global power fundamentally change. On one hand, we have autonomous AI systems selecting military targets in seconds, creating a hyper-efficient, terrifying new reality of warfare.
Yep.
On the other hand, something as simple and abundant as table salt could completely redraw the global energy map, stripping leverage away from traditional oil and lithium monopolies.
It's two massive extremes.
But here is the real question. If nations achieve total energy independence through sodium batteries, and wars are fought autonomously by AI systems that don't sleep, do global superpowers simply stop engaging with each other altogether?
Oh, wow.
Does ultimate technological independence actually just lead to ultimate global isolation? Something to think about as you watch these markets move.
Wow. Does independence just equal isolation? That is a profound thought to end on.
It is a strange future we're heading toward.
It really puts this entire geopolitical stress test into perspective. As always, we are deeply committed to bringing you impartial, objective facts on this show.
Always.
The world right now is incredibly noisy and chaotic, but this Sip and Talk community is amazing because you always utilize critical, independent thinking to cut right through that noise.
You really do.
If you want to keep making sense of this crazy, fast-moving world with us, please make sure you subscribe to the Sip and Talk podcast so you never miss an update.
We appreciate the support.
And hey, on a totally different, much lighter note, don't forget to go subscribe to our old friend Mickey's YouTube channel, Mickey to Life.
Oh, right.
I was watching his latest travel vlog this morning, and he shot some incredibly goofy, short-form video with a super cute girl. Seriously, is this what short-form video is now?
I don't even pretend to understand it anymore.
Because I completely do not get his sense of humor in this one at all. Can anyone out there explain the joke to me?
I think you might be analyzing his travel vlogs with the same logic sample we use for the Strait of Hormuz.
Maybe I am.
Just let it be goofy. But yes, please go check his channel out. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Stay safe, and goodbye.
See you next time.